Now we're getting into like the beginning of spring, which is a great time to cook at home. It's a great time to cook in restaurants because like I love slow braises and long cooks and all those kind of things, but I can't look at any more brown food. I need food with a little bit of color in it, and we're gonna start that with this first course. So the oil is hot. I'm gonna add some shallots. And we put the shallots in first. Now I want you to put in what you would think is a pinch of salt. Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's my kind of pinch,
right.
like a 2-finger pinch.
Yeah,
and the reason that you put the salt in now is because the shallot has some great flavor to it. It has some natural sweetness. If we don't season it as we go, we end up with a shallot that doesn't have as much sweetness. We haven't maximized the flavor. Salt pulls out the flavors of food. If you wait till the end to salt your food, you end up with salty food. All right? So now we'll put in a little bit of garlic. We put in the shallot first because the garlic doesn't need to cook as long as the shallot. And if you put in the garlic and the shallot at the same time, the garlic will burn and it'll be bitter. And as my wife likes to say, there's only room for one bitter person in the kitchen, and it's not her, it's me. So we let those sweat now. And when I say sweat, I'm over a medium to a low heat, and I'm cooking it without any color. So to this, I'm gonna add a little bit of chili. Do you guys like things spicy, not spicy? Spicy? So we're gonna add some chili flakes, and I'm gonna pull this off the heat at this point because the reason I put the chili flakes in the fat is they're gonna release their oils, bring out their flavor. And that's what we want. We never want to miss the opportunity to maximize flavor. So here we have some spring peas, which we've cooked and shocked. Gina, I want you to throw those in there. We just have a food processor here. Yeah, it's hot. I'm gonna add our shallots and our chilies and our garlic. And then, yeah, take some mint. Just help me pick this mint. We're gonna just pick the mint and throw it in there.
How much?
Just we'll do all of this, yep. And then as you're picking, I'm gonna, Ryan, if you could keep an eye on this, I'm gonna drizzle some bread, day-old bread, liberally with some extra virgin oil, and then grill it till it has a good char on it. The joke that Mario Batali and we like to take things to the level with charring with food, you know, because a lot of flavors in there. Do you guys know what the difference between char and burnt is? $20.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid when you're on a grill, whether it's a steak or bread or a chicken breast, whatever it is, let the equipment do the work for you. This is a great addition that you could put on top of your burners, and you could really get that great char on there. If you start moving the bread around or the meat around or all those things around quickly, you never get the char, you never develop the flavor. All right? You're the quickest picker I've ever seen. It's unbelievable. So now we're gonna put in about half of our feta cheese, because I'm a good Greek boy. We're gonna put in a good amount of extra virgin oil. Now this is feeding a lot of people, and this gives you a nice shiny coat. I'm actually 77 years old. Look at how good my skin is. A splash of sherry vinegar, and then the zest and juice of a lemon. The other thing, we've talked a lot about salt, is acid adds an incredible amount of flavor to food. It is another thing that brings flavor out also. So acidity and salt, if you amp up your acidity and salt in your food, chances are your food's gonna taste better. And again, we did it with spring peas. You could do this with any seasonal vegetable. You could do it with tomatoes in the summer, corn in the summer. In the fall, you could do it with carrots or squash or things like that too. So you could really make the recipe fix your needs. You know, a lot of times when people put food on a grill, they start moving it around real quick. You just have to be patient. That's really the key. So we take this great charred piece of bread, we take a spoon, and remember, you're always taste before you serve. Check your seasoning. Does it need salt? Does it need pepper? Does it need more olive oil? What does it need? Because if you wait and you send it out to your guests and then you take a bite of the food you just served them and it needs seasoning at that point, you really screwed up. So taste first and then go from there. This actually tastes perfect because Gina, you are a fantastic salter. So we just take a little dollop, we put it on. Thanks, chef. I'm gonna garnish it with some radishes, a little bit of arugula, a crumble of feta cheese, and then you just top it off. And you know, the one thing that I've learned as a chef, as I've kind of grown as a chef, is, you know, I'm getting close to 50 now. And when I was a young cook, when I was graduated from culinary school and started working in restaurants, you know, you had this tremendous urge to be the most creative person in the room, or the state, or the restaurant, or the country, or whatever it is. And the older I got as a chef, the more confident I got as a chef, the more comfortable I got with simplicity of food. And I realized that it doesn't always have to be the most creative dish, but it has to be the best tasting. And like, if you guys watched Iron Chef, like I'm 39-3 on Iron Chef or something stupid like that. And it's because, it's not because like I'm smarter, better, or whatever than these people. It's that when I fed the judges, all I cared about is I had the best tasting plate in the room. I didn't care about that it had 4,000 ingredients or they did a million different things, because I knew at the end of the day, when the judge takes the bite, the bite that tastes the best is almost always gonna win. And it doesn't have to have a bazillion bells and whistles on it as long as it's the best. You know what does that make sense to everybody? I mean, it's very much actually like Bluestar. There's a million ranges out there with all these bells and whistles, but what you really need is good power, dependability, you know, the space of the oven, like all those things. It's just do the basics great, and everything else falls into place. And I think that is more with food, more than just food.